Hello, my name is Jermon Anderson. I'm a game artist who studied game design at UCF. Though I prefer to make 2D art, I specialize in both 2D and 3D game art asset creation, animation, and texturing. I particularly care about diversity and representation within video games. The first piece I would like to show you today is Triatea's Travels. Triatea's Travels is an endless runner casual phone game made for Android devices. A team of 5 people worked on this, but I was responsible for half of the code, all of the music, and most of the art assets, essentially everything except the background and the player concept. I'm particularly proud of my work with skeletal animations for this project, as I was able to create a skeletal rig and bone weights to animate a 2D sprite. This was made for casual game production, so this was essentially a class assignment, and it has been completed and is playable on phones. We did not get everything that we wanted to from the concept when we first created it, but we did get a minimum viable product and were able to complete the assignment. The next game I would like to show you is Cat Burglar. Cat Burglar is a roguelike shooter. This was made by a team of 3 people, and I was responsible for all of the art assets for the game. I am particularly proud of my sprite animations. As an example, that I can do both skeletal animations and sprite animations, and I have a couple of different ones here. This was made for a game jam, the Blackthorn Prod game jam, to be exact, and it had to be made, all of the art and code and the game itself had to be made within 7 days. Now the game has been completed because it was made for a game jam, but we are still collaborating together just to get some further pieces in there that we wanted to get from the concept. Still, we have a completely playable game that you can play in a web browser or by downloading. Next, I would like to show you my tileable textures. These are isometric tiles I made for a personal game of mine. I've been working on this project by myself. It wasn't for a particular class or anything of that sort. I just wanted to create a pixel art isometric game, and so I made these floor tiles. Right now I've had to put the production of that game on pause to keep up with work, but I plan to revisit this later. Still, I think these are great examples of how I can make tileable textures. The next piece I would like to show you is Nyla. Nyla is a character bust that I created. It was for my digital sculpting class. I'm particularly proud of Nyla because the concept was to use sexual dimorphism in animals to create a instantly visible trans character. And I also painted this character within ZBrush. This project has been completed, but I would like to do more with the character, get a full body and rig it. I'd also like to redo those textures in Substance Painter and retopple the head so that it could be put into an actual game, but this was made for a digital sculpting class, and we worked entirely in ZBrush, so this is the finished piece. The last piece I would like to show you today is this cannon. I made this by myself over an entire semester for Modeling 2. This is one of the better models that I've created because I spent an entire semester on it. The cannon itself is completed. I still would like to go back and revisit some of the textures that I did on it, but I am showing it to you today because it is a particularly good example of what I can do with Maya and ZBrush and retoppling and baking on information. for game optimization. So here's the high poly model that was made in ZBrush. And here's the low poly model that had that information baked onto it for texturing. This is a good example of my 3D artwork. As I said, I retoppled the cannon essentially for an assignment, not because it needed to be done, but it does show that I know how to do all of those modeling techniques. And that is all I wanted to show you today. Thank you very much for watching.